Good morning and welcome to Mental Health Matters Office Hours. My name is Dr Audrey Tang and this is a show where we discuss all things workplace wellbeing. My co-host is Judith Crosier and today we are going to be talking about nutrition in the workplace. Let's head over. Jude.
Good morning.
Now, we have something slightly different in the studio today. We have fruit.
I know. Walked in and there was just healthy fruit everywhere.
And we usually have pastries. Now, this is a change that we have consciously made because something that I recognise is if I'm bringing pastries in and we're all trying to be healthy and talking about healthy stuff, how healthy can we be if that's what's on offer? And I think that's one of the issues in the workplace. And so today's show, we wanted to talk about food in the workplace, how important it can be in the workplace, but also reflect on some of the conversations we've had with previous guests about how we can maintain healthy routines in work, outside work, working from home, working outside the 9 to 5 and so on. So today's show is all about food. And you work from home a lot, Jude. How easy do you find it is to stay healthy when it's easy to just go and grab a bag of crisps or whatever's in the cupboard?
Well, interestingly, I'm not the one that does it. So my husband's the one that does that. Yeah.
Oh, how interesting.
And we've had to try and, because I don't eat lunch, so I'll have toast for breakfast and that's it till dinner. But he has a lunch, breakfast, lunch, dinner. And so his lunch is that, crisps, or he'll have like a whole thing of yogurt and that's it. Very weird. So he literally does that, grab whatever's there. And so I've tried to say, think about it and plan. It's the organising the shopping really, isn't it?
It is.
Plan. But it's, even then, if he's had a particularly busy day or stressful day, he doesn't want to go and make lunch.
That's true.
So he'll just grab anyway. So it's hard. It's harder from home because if you don't have healthy things there, you're not going to eat healthily.
Which actually leads us very nicely onto our first clip, because we have a lot of experts on this show. They all give us their own experience, their tips and tools, what they found through working with their clients. And I think that's why our discussions really come up with some very helpful tips. And we're going to go over to Jono Poon. Yes. Now, he came on the show to talk about healthy routines.
Yes.
And one of his healthy routines is about preparing nutritious food to feed the body and feed the mind. Let's go over to Jono.
My daily practices is to start the day with cold bath, cold showers, and also 5 to 10 minutes stretching and breath work, because that just sets the calm tone for the start of my day. Looking after your nutrition, so getting plenty of cooked foods such as proteins, omega-3s, and plenty of water helps with just looking after your body in general, making sure you're having the right fuel in your body, but also knowing that caffeine and crisps and snacks isn't going to get you through the day enough.
Thank you, Jono. I love that. I love the organisation that he has of being able to prepare things. And I know I can't do that. I have to admit, if I'm working from home, I'm a little bit like your husband. I will eat a whole bag of crisps or something like that, So you're talking about a big yoghurt pot there, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. He gets through a number of those a week. Yeah, he does.
Oh.
Which is better than eating chocolate or biscuits.
It is true.
But but he loves yogurt.
Is that something that would be a conscious choice, or is it something like a previous guest has said, which was Bianca Chappell, a secret single behaviour that he doesn't want people to know about?
Well, you know what? I think it probably is the latter, because I think he ate a lot of yogurts before he and I met. So I think he's probably continued that on. But what's happened is they've gone from the little, normal size yogurts to the huge ones. So our fridge, one whole shelf in our fridge is taken up by these big yogurts. But, they're he has changed to full fat to low fat, so that's good.
So that's
so he has
something.
made a conscious choice, yeah.
And this also raises a new question when it comes to nutritious eating, and we will be talking to the appetite doctor later on in this show about nutrition. Calorie wise, eating a whole pot of yogurt may be 300 to 500 calories.
Yeah.
So calorie wise, it's not that bad.
It's not too bad.
And actually, it's about the same as a chicken sandwich. Somehow a chicken sandwich is going to be healthier.
It's a bit more balanced, isn't it? You've got a bit of carbohydrate, a bit of protein. With the yogurt, it's mainly all protein and fat, probably. So, I don't know. He hopefully will then make up for that when he has his dinner and have a bit of protein in there and vegetables and things like that.
And this reminds me of something we will again visit later in this show, having a conversation with Sandra Stein about working from home and how the workplace can sometimes give us and put upon us a structure and a discipline that we may not have at home. You can't get a big pot of yogurt in the workplace. I can't get a big family bag of crisps in the workplace.
No, and if he was working in an office, he'd either have a canteen, which would have healthy food, or he'd go to a shop and buy a sandwich, which will be balanced. So it's a really, really good point.
And that mixes with something that we're going to use to end this particular this segment and this discussion, and that is Bianca Chappell. She talks about this thing called secret single behaviours.
Yes.
Now, we have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
It's a lovely little thing, and it is those things that we do when we're on our own. But sometimes, if that has become a habit, like we work from home and at lunch we will eat a big pot of yogurt every single day, or eat a big family bag of crisps every single day, that goes beyond that cheeky secret single behaviour into potentially a nutritional deficit. So we're going to play this clip from Bianca about the secret single behaviour, but we really want to remind you, use that for what it is. Don't make it a habit.
Everybody has their SSB. Everyone. Sometimes we don't even take account of that's what we like to do. But you have it. So find out what that is and just do it. I adore just switching off and watching trash TV. I love to cook. Nobody's in the kitchen. That's my time. That's my SSB. That is one of my secret single behaviours. If I was on my own and nobody was watching, I didn't have a care in the world, what would I do to make me happy? It would be to watch trash TV or to cook.
Welcome back to Mental Health Matters Office Hours. We are talking about the impact of food and work. Whether that's working from home and eating a whole pot of yogurt like your husband, or eating a whole family bag of crisps and calling it lunch, as I do, or whether it is, in a way, a lack of discipline because work from home doesn't necessarily have the same rules and regulations as the workplace might offer us. Food has an impact on our working and our productivity. It has extra impacts. So let's talk a little bit about the work from home situation. And with you working from home, do you have a structure? I know you said you don't have lunch, but do you have a clear kind of way of working which is conducive to nutritional health?
I think the short answer to that would be no. No.
Honest answer, which we are always honest here, and I'd say I don't always. I try, but don't always succeed at all.
Yes. And, when we had Sandra on the show, that really showed me what I should be doing, working from home, because it shouldn't, in many ways, shouldn't really be any different from going into a professional office. So now I have that as a kind of a guideline. But no, I don't have any structure. And it's probably not, it doesn't take away my productivity. I think I'm more productive at home than anywhere else. I work really, really hard, but I think that structure is good for many other reasons, not just productivity.
Yeah, and when, by structure, we also talk about boundary and stopping work when you have to, and taking a break when you need to. You'd think that working from home, is almost the toilet's just there, the kettle's just there. But sometimes when I've got really into something, I can forget to drink.
Yeah.
I can forget to go to the toilet.
Yes.
And actually, this is something that I think in the workplace, everyone's going, oh, do you want a cup of tea?
Yeah.
Shall I put the kettle on? And with that naturally comes a toilet break and things like that.
Yeah, sometimes you might go to the toilet just to have a 5-minute break,
Yes.
the other way around, whereas you don't do that at home, you don't need to.
Yes. And this was the discussion that we had with Sandra Stein.
Yeah.
We were talking about how working from home is seen as really comfortable and really lovely and something that everyone's fighting to do. But she really pulled out that it's having some detrimental effects on our health that we don't realise. So let's head over to our conversation with Sandra.
And diet as well can be impacted by working from home, because if you've just got a local shop and that you're just going there to get your lunch rather than perhaps a canteen where they serve healthy food, does that make us more unhealthy? And also, are we becoming more erratic with our eating habits because we don't necessarily have to wait for lunchtime to have something to eat?
Well, let's talk about what I don't hear people discussing much, which is the boredom.
Okay.
Boredom working from home. Again, I hear that a lot. I've got to.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
I just logged on. Now I'm gonna log off, and there's another meeting. Oh, and absolutely, that's a reality. And there's nothing that makes you crave more for calorie-packed and easy accessible food than boredom.
That is true.
Because that is a highlight of your day. That is a highlight of half of your day. It's something to looking forward to. You see, you're feeding something there. If you're not having that nurture of being with somebody else, with being with another human, talking about, if you're not having that break with another person, being connected to another person, you will try to nurture that thing that's missing with something.
Thank you, Sandra. Now, that conversation, I remember we talked off-set afterwards, that it raises so much complexity of the working from home mindset that isn't talked about.
Yeah, and I think you made the point in the show at the time where people think working from home, oh, it's great, it's so much easier, whatever, but you don't think about all the individual issues that can come up, and that's why that was so interesting.
Yeah, and these are the topics that I think need to be hitting the media a bit more, because we just almost get the headline of, oh, working from home, some people like it, some people don't.
But it is quite interesting how people can easily be a lot more unhealthy working from home because of all those reasons.
Yes, and we don't realise how much our mental health is impacted by our physical health and what we put in our bodies. I remember I was at an event and Dr. Hilary Jones was there. He said something really interesting that I will never forget. He said, when you go to the vet and you say there's something wrong with my dog, my cat, one of the first things the vet will say is, what's he or she been eating?
Yeah, true.
You go to the GP, you go, oh, this hurts, that hurts. GP doesn't ask that question.
No.
And yet, what we've been eating could actually be impacting everything else. We might be stressed or tired because we're not sleeping well, because actually we've eaten something which is really causing us problems.
Well, yeah, exactly. Either we're not getting the right nutritious value from the food, or we might have a food intolerance that we don't know about, etc., etc.
And I travel for work, and one of the things I hate is actually flying now, because it really makes me very bloated and gassy, and it doesn't do much for your eating habits when you're in pain or you're just feeling uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But we kind of know about that one. It's the things that we don't realise when it comes to what I've eaten does affect my productivity, and if we haven't flown anywhere, if we haven't got an excuse to think that what we've eaten has affected us, we actually don't put it down to food. We just go, I'm tired, or I'm something else.
Yeah, but quite often, you know, they say your gut is your second brain, don't they?
Yes.
So pretty much all of our well-being, I think, comes from, well, obviously it comes from other factors, but a lot of it comes from our gut, because we're not putting the right things in, and therefore our brain isn't working properly.
Yeah, absolutely. Which kind of brings me on to another great guest we have on this show, and this is Dr. Helen McCarthy. She is known as the Appetite Doctor, and she's been on our show a number of times because she gives so many great tips and tools to listen to the signals that your body is giving you, which we don't.
No.
And the reason we don't is because fast food is so easy. It's there, and then we eat with our eyes, not with our body. So we'll eat it even if we're not. Actually, that brings me on to, sorry, I will come back to Helen. But have you ever had that situation where you're eating something and you're really full, but it's actually really tasty, and you carry on eating it?
Yeah.
What is that about?
It's because, you know, what you get, I think, I've thought about this, and I think it's because the gratification now is worth more than the
discomfort later.
Exactly right.
Yeah, because I know my body is screaming at me going, you are full. You do not need it. And I'm even saying it out loud consciously. I'm still eating it even
I know.
And then I suffer for it afterwards.
Yeah.
It's true. Instant gratification.
It's a thing.
Dr. Helen, however, talks about this eating outside the 9 to 5. And this is really important because studio work, working from home sometimes, events that I do, you don't end up on a regular schedule, which means that even if a healthy canteen is there, you might still grab the bag of crisps, or you might still overeat because your schedule's been knocked out. How does eating outside those days where it goes outside the 9 to 5, how do you find that impacts you?
Oh, it's really bad. I mean, if I have to, you know, go away for work, which I do, then I'm kind of reliant on whatever local shop is there. If I'm going to an unknown area and I'm staying there for a few days or a week or whatever, then I'm. And if the local shop doesn't sell anything healthy, then you're at the mercy of where you are in a way. And also, you know, motorway service stations.
It's not healthy.
No, really not. But I have to use those sometimes.
Yes.
And so but having said that, it is easy to blame those, because what I could do is think ahead and get a supermarket delivery to where I'm staying for the next week and put healthy things on it. So I think it's a lot of things come into it. You know, it's the stress, it's the pace of life that we kind of work at as well.
You just saying that reminds me of another guest. Again, we have the best guest, Dr. Gus. I remember we talked about this, and he did a great little Instagram clip about how he's walking up to some donuts going, I'm not going to eat them, I'm not going to eat them. And then the next clip, it's suddenly like, oh, where do they go?
How did that happen?
And then when we talked about this, he said, yeah, but you can blame that, but you had to consciously go to the McDonald's, go and order a burger, unwrap the burger, there is a process.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're right.
Yeah.
We consciously make those decisions.
Yes.
But eating outside the 9 to 5, I know even if there is a healthy option, I'm either so hungry or it's so new and exciting, again, that instant gratification, that I go and overeat something which isn't as healthy for me. So we asked this question specifically to Dr. Helen and asked her how we can improve our eating habits outside the 9 to 5.
I think the main tips I would really sort of reinforce are just be realistic about the demands on you and on how regular your eating routines can be. Prioritise your own sort of making life manageable rather than putting yourself under pressure, because the more pressure you put yourself under, the more likely it is that that's just going to cave after a while, because we just can't function under too much pressure. And we revert to our old patterns if we do that. And use planning. Planning, I think, is something just forward thinking, not meticulous planning, just thinking, I know that on such and such a day, I'm not going to have any chance to eat between this time and that time. So maybe have a snack with me that I can just have in a short break. Or, for instance, something like if I know that there's going to be a time when I'm going to arrive home really hungry, try and make sure that there's something that's really quick and really easy to prepare, as in shove in the microwave would be the ideal, probably.
Thank you, Dr. Helen. I love her.
She's so great. And I think it might have been Helen a different time that said something that's always stuck with me. Or if it wasn't Helen, it was another of our brilliant guests. But it was, and I do this, or I used to do this, and I don't do it now, it's don't eat because you think you might be hungry in 3 hours' time.
It was Helen.
It was Helen. I thought it was.
It's called insurance eating.
Yeah. And so that's easy to do if you're not if you're kind of out of routine and out of structure. You think, right, okay, in 4 hours' time I'm going to be on the road. All right, I better eat then because I know that I'm going to be hungry. But no, eat when you're hungry. That's it.
Yes.
Because you're never far away from food. And
that's true.
We're so lucky. We can get food anywhere.
Do you know what? It's you saying that out loud. There's so much that I think we need to start voicing. And you are so right. We're never that far away from food.
No.
Right now, we can just walk 2 doors down the road. There's a post office there. We can go and get whatever we want. And they do sandwiches as well.
They do, yeah.
The other side of our studio is a pub, which does healthy lunches.
Yeah, really nice as well.
We're not, good point. Good point. But yeah, that's why I think our guests are so wonderful, because they do give us these snippets where we remember them, and maybe we struggle putting them into play now, but we get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was really nice tips there from Dr. Helen. And one thing that I just recognise, and this is a silly thing, this is not so much the impact of food and what we eat, but something external to that happened to me at an event yesterday. I was delivering a keynote and I'd just gone and got changed. I was in, full makeup, that whole thing. And they were serving the welcoming drinks. And I went to the bar and asked for a soft drink. And he poured me the soft drink. But the first thing he said, because he knew, he'd seen me earlier rehearsing, he'd seen me go to the toilet, seen me come out completely different. And he just looked at me and went, "Would you like a straw, madam?" I suddenly thought, yes, I would.
What a lovely, thoughtful thing to say,
my lipstick's going to come off all over on the drinks. I'm going to have to reapply. I never even considered that actually when I've got a full face of makeup, a straw is a really helpful thing.
Yeah, so thoughtful.
Yes.
Very thoughtful of him.
Just
and practical.
And that is how workplaces can impact your well-being using food. Let's go to a break.
Our passion for coffee goes way beyond the cup. We believe in a fair production chain in which each coffee farmer plays an essential role. We are proud to support our communities and promote environmental sustainability. Bedford Coffee Roasters guarantees an exceptional experience for producers and consumers. Join us on our journey to extraordinary coffee, where quality, sustainability and fairness come together to create an experience unlike any other. Ground with passion, served with pride, Bedford Coffee Roasters, coffee worth drinking.
Welcome back to Mental Health Matters Office Hours. We are having a great chat and a great reflection on how much food can, and not just food, but the serving of food even, can impact us in the workplace, because it is a really underlooked way that you can connect with your team at work, is food.
It really is. I know that when I've gone out for lunch with colleagues, it's just so nice, and you come back feeling refreshed and connected, like you say, and it's a lovely shared and they do this abroad. They do this in Europe.
Yes.
They take longer lunch hours so that they can go out and have a proper experience and not have to, stuff their food down them and take their time, and they do it right.
Yeah, absolutely. And food has such symbolism. I was recording a documentary, which we will be showing at some point, on my cultural heritage. And one of the key things, we had a Nonya chef on the show. She was talking about the language of food and how the Peranakans used to speak through the food. And there's this dish called nasi lemak. And what this is it's rice and chicken and little bits of other condiments and so on. And this dish is presented at the wedding, in a Peranakan wedding that's 12 days. Now, on one of those days, they check for the virginity of the bride. Now, we're talking when these traditions were there.
Okay, so not now.
It was way back in the sort of 15th, 16th century. Well, everyone was checking for virginity of brides, I think, in whatever way they were doing it. The wedding for Peranakans, I think, still lasts 12 days, but it's not.
They might miss that bit out. Okay.
Yeah, but the food that's given is the same thing, and it's this nasi lemak. And there's a real fuss about whether nasi lemak, the rice, should be dyed blue, or because people do that, they add pea flour, and you may see it in Thai restaurants, in Malay restaurants, the rice is a different colour.
Oh wow.
And it's very pretty. But the argument for the purists is that dish is Peranakan. It's traditionally there to symbolise the purity of the bride. That rice has to be white.
Has to be white, yeah, that makes sense.
And that's where symbolism and food is so significant. And that's why I think if we aren't tapping into how much food can impact our well-being, we're missing out as organisations.
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely. And that's such a brilliant example of symbolism.
Yeah.
And how important
food
to get it right.
Yeah, yes. And I think the one thing I hate about when organisations try to serve ethnic dishes is when they're just bad.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, they haven't got it quite right.
I don't mean get it right like Mummy used to make it. I don't mean like that. I just mean don't just pour a jar of sweet and sour sauce on something.
Right.
And call it,
yeah,
we're doing Chinese today. No, you're not.
Yeah, I know what you mean. A bit of care has to go into.
Yes. And talking about a bit of care, workplaces need to listen, I think, to the needs of people. Whether those needs might be dietary requirements or so on, because one of the conversations we had with nutritionist and stress consultant Felicia Jones was about how we can maintain healthy routines if the workplace is always bringing in cakes and sweets. And have you been in that situation?
I mean, teaching is right.
Yes.
Teachers and teaching assistants quite a lot of the time are amazing because they want to, make their teachers happy, so they bring in cakes quite a lot. And it's lovely. It's so lovely, but it's not necessarily conducive to the most healthy work day eating, not really.
So this is, again, the question we posed to Felicia. How do we remain healthy when the organisation seems determined to break our choices? Let's head over to Felicia.
Yeah, I mean, I think that some organisations very much have that at the forefront. And so they're thinking about that. But I think that when we think about an organisation and how they run, it's primarily for either, if it's charitable, for the good of the people they're supporting, or it could be, if it's private sector, it could be the profit line. So we need to have a look at, well, what is the outcome that organisations want? And so when we're talking about health, it's not necessarily a natural fit. Because we want our staff to be healthy and well, but it can be for productivity rather than we want them to be healthy and well and so that, they just come in to work, they enjoy themselves and that side of it. And so I think you've got to think that organisations also have a duty of care, and particularly when we're talking about mental health. Yeah. So there is that, and it should be in alignment. So HR managers, operational managers. And what often happens that I've seen is that you have certain sectors on board. Yeah. So you might have the HR department that are all like, yes, let's put it on our intranet and everything like that. And then you've got an operations team that are really busy and they can't incorporate that. Yeah. So I believe that it's about people having discussions about what can we do and how can we practically do it? Not theoretically, how can we practically do it? And then speaking to the staff, because I think I've seen HR come up with all these great ideas and the staff are like, that's not what I want. I'm not actually, I'm not interested in that. And I think one of the things, particularly, like you were joking about, you know, the yoga and that sort of thing.
But it happens.
But there's all this thing as well about staff all connecting and eating together. But some staff might want to sit on their own.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to feel that you're forced. So actually consulting with the team as well, you know, the teams, what would actually help you? Do you want to have a vending machine that has you know, fruit in, or do you want to be able to go for a walk and that sort of thing? How can we make it work? Not just a concept. We're putting this in, and this is our healthy tick. It's like really what is going to help, and it can be really small things. I think we have this idea that bringing health in means changing everything.
Yes.
But it could be, I've gone to places that have got water coolers and water's warm. I know it sounds really silly, but who wants to drink warm water?
Yeah.
Just checking that the water's cold, or you've got space for a fridge, and that means people can bring their things in. It can be really small things.
That's something that I don't think we mention enough, and I don't think consultants mention this enough, probably because their bread and butter depends on it, but one small change, just make that one small change and consult with the staff, see how that works, and if that works, then move on to the next one. That makes perfect sense. Thank you, Felicia. Now, I know one thing since that conversation we've been doing, and I mentioned it at the start of the show, was I now bring in fruit.
Yes, it's very nice.
I say I now, this has been the first show where we've had it, so let's see if I'm still doing it next show. But it's a start. It's a start. But another thing that we did as a studio, we went out to a local Indian restaurant called Namji, because there the owner is doing so much to use her business to connect with the community.
Yes.
And this was really beautiful. So we're going to show you our studio trip to Namji.
It was created when I wanted to do something to help the women and just the community, and it hit it off. It went really well. We started getting women who are housewives. I was training them, and they were going in the kitchen, learning how to become sous chefs. And what better cooks than women, because they already cook anyway, so it was really good. And slowly the word got out. I started helping more women, and Namji became popular. And keeping in mind I'd never cooked for a kitchen before. My mom was on iPad with me the first 6 months. I used to tell her, I've got 4 tables outside, and how do I cook the food together? She said, me first to this, first to that. So obviously the love of cooking comes from mom. And believe it or not, I never once knew I'd have a restaurant where I'd even cook, because I preferred other people cooking, like my mom. But then when she became diagnosed with cancer, and I wanted to do something for her, because there's nobody in Nairobi, in Kenya, where I was from, that doesn't talk about my mom's cooking. And she was very popular with the food. And I know for a fact, if she wasn't a housewife, not that she was not happy, she loved being a housewife. She loved looking after my dad and us. I think she would have been an amazing entrepreneur. And she just didn't get the opportunity because, in our culture, it was very much just stay at home, look after the kids. But then that's why I want to dedicate something for her. So I opened it for her. And all the dishes are for her. And then of course, from the love of cooking the food and providing people, connecting people, it was obvious there was a need in the community for people who didn't have food to eat or needed support, because at the end of the day, I come from a family where there's a lot of poverty in the country, in Kenya, and people help each other, and nobody should be sleeping in empty stomach. And my mom always did that. There was always food in the home, and there was always many people who would benefit from my mom. Should give a lot of food out. So I started just telling people if you need food they can come. So we opened like a soup kitchen kind of, and it still is open, and it works really well. So now people know us, know me. If they want something they will come to us. I don't give families cooked food just for the day. I give them food parcels so they can do a cook themselves. Yeah. But most of the homeless they know where to come. We even get phone calls from homeless now. And they say, we're coming at 8, can you please make sure we've got like a hot meal? And I think it's really important that, obviously everything that I do is because what I saw in my mom, but also because it's my religion. So in Islam, we're supposed to give charity and not talk about it. And I think that's the reason that I never talked about it before. Until one of my really good friends said, if you don't, people will not know it's the way to go.
Can you tell us any stories behind some of the menu?
Sure. I mean, one thing that immediately I can tell you is the aubergine and lamb. So I'm a huge aubergine fan. I would eat aubergine every day if I could. My husband hates it. But it's very underrated. So aubergine and lamb, my mom used to cook the best. Obviously in Kenya we use more goat meat than lamb, but still it's amazing. So that's that's why it's called Naz's Bagel Gosh, because it's Naz. And the spinach again, my mom's used to love spinach. Gobi Gosh, that's why it's called Dad's Gobi Gosh, because my dad loves cauliflower. He'll have, just like I love aubergine, he can have aubergine with everything. And coconut, my mom was born in Mombasa, in a seaside village. And so everything, she loved coconut. And a lot of people don't like coconut. So I love it. I love it. And I think that's why I've named it Seaside Coconut Fun, just for remembering where the coconut love came through. And of course the paneer tikka, the tikka spices. One of the reasons our food is very different to everybody else, we don't batch cook. We do cook the lamb and the lentils in the morning because we have to slow cook them. Everything else is prepared fresh. And the spices, I roast them how my mom taught me, and then they're grinded. That's why the flavors, even if you don't put any chili in the food, you can still smell the flavors, taste the flavors, and the cinnamon, the clove. Because a lot of people, they don't know how to. I mean, I'm not a master chef or a Michelin star chef, but I listen to what my mom used to talk about food, because she used to say that the food, a lot of people don't know how to cook it the proper way. You have to enhance the flavor, and I think you have to love what you do, otherwise it will never come out of it. Yeah, and then of course we've managed to win a lot of awards. We've been awarded many awards, best in Buckinghamshire, and I hope it continues. Hi, my name is Naseem. I'm the owner of Namji and Give Back to You UK. This video we have decided to make just to show our appreciation and what we have been through this past year since we went in lockdown. It's been a difficult time for all of us, and there were times when I didn't know if we can go through this or even make it to today where we are now, 2021. It's been an amazing journey. I've reflected a lot about how I spend my money or how I live my life. I always did do the homeless meals, and there's been 10 times more need now than ever, and I am so pleased, with the help of my faith, my religion and Allah and my mom and dad. And in honor of my mom, we started the soup kitchen, which is doing really well. And I've had absolute support from my husband and my son Adi, who has been so involved in this from the beginning. And I have a great team of staff who have worked tirelessly. Sometimes when we finish making one of these rounds of meals where we're cooking more than 800 to 900 meals a day, I can tell you it's really exhausting, but it's amazing how the whole community has come together. My favorite dish is biryani, lamb biryani. Absolutely love with potato, because I'm a big potato, as you can tell. I'm a huge potato fan. Yeah, so I love biryani because my mom made the best biryani, and since she's passed away, My sisters have tried to replicate. I've tried to. One of my sisters here has tried. She thinks she does, but no. And I think biryani makes me very close to my mom, and especially because every Sunday when we used to, all sisters, sit down to watch TV, there's a special TV show we used to watch, and at 1 o'clock the show used to start, and my mom knew if the biryani is not on the table at 1, there's going to be problems from all of us. It was the Seventh Heaven we used to watch. It's an American sitcom, and it's such a great memory we had because she used to, bless her, you know, I feel so bad sometimes. She used to make sure that 12:55 the food is on the table and we're eating and watching, so it became like a family tradition.
And actually with that, there's a real heritage that's passed down through cooking, and I think we all know that. What would you say were the things that you picked up from your mum, you know, that are significant to your family?
I think from my mum, I learned a lot of things from her. Number one, she made sure we were highly educated, all of us, because although she had a very happy life, and when I say this, I don't say negatively that there's a lot of people who love staying at home and raising their kids, nothing wrong with that. But she always said that she wanted us to be educated, and I believe if I wasn't educated, I would have struggled when I got divorced, you know, and I was a single mom. But because I was educated, I was in a corporate world, and you know, with everything that happened, and she didn't, in the aspect of, she was bullied a lot by my father's family, a lot. And I always saw her being quiet, and used to always really wind me up. I used to say, Mom, say something, and she used to say, no, allow him to speak for me. She always said that. So even in my hardest time of life, when I felt, oh, this person, you know, I've actually remembered her words, and I've learned that from her. And I think it's the best thing to do. She used to say, silence. And, you know, I've learned now that, you know, I've matured. Although I have made a lot of mistakes, in the sense I have let it out a lot of times, but it hasn't benefited anyone. So I learned that from her. I learned from her about the passion of giving others, always helping, and she always smiled. It wasn't up until we were a bit older that I understood behind her smile there was this depression. And you know, when she went through menopause, no idea about it. But so I learned a lot that you don't know what people are going through at all. Sorry, I get a bit emotional.
Oh, no, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
No. One thing I did learn from her, and I do regret it, is tailoring. You know, that's why the sewing machine is there. So that's why we do the sewing projects. She didn't let us stitch. She didn't let us learn, because I've seen her actually stay up till 12 o'clock at night stitching all the family clothes for free. You know, all the family, terrible. You know, they would just dump these clothes on her. But you know, she made sure we had very good clothes. And we have 5 sisters and 1 brother. So, you know, always well dressed. So that's, I didn't learn. None of my sisters did actually. But she didn't let us.
What are your hopes for Namji?
You know how people sometimes can't afford, or not even afford, so much time to cook. So I'm going to be starting selling this meal, which are already in the market. I know people do it. You know, so I'm thinking I can start selling like a 7-day meal prep plan, so people can put it in the fridge and then just heat it up and eat it. And it will be nice, exactly how you have it here, and make it affordable so that they can, you know, afford to eat it. Food brings people together, and I think it's just not a culture thing. I think it's a human thing, that it doesn't matter what religion you follow, who you are. When you just, food brings people together, you know. And so there's a lot of infusion in this food from the love of my mom's cooking, my dad's eating, you know, till today. You know, he loves eating, and although he misses my mom terribly, you know, they had good 45 years together. So it means every time we're eating, there's always a story, there's always a passion. Oh, Dad loves it. When my dad came to visit us, you should have met him. He was so happy being in the restaurant, because he would bully the staff to give him fried stuff when he wasn't allowed. But you know, he loved being here, and he was so happy to see my mom's legacy.
Know that the lunch hour used to genuinely be an hour, and now most of us tend to grab about 30 minutes if we're lucky, maybe 20 minutes, maybe a sad sandwich by the desk, and that is a thing. The Guardian did an article on it. But reviving the lunch break, even if it is for 40 minutes, is one of the best ways organisations can really boost the well-being of their teams. Because the lunch break, when you get a chance to talk to colleagues, have a joke, relax, is an opportunity to share ideas. Ideas can flow a lot more easily in an informal environment. So if you are chatting with your colleagues about something, you might stumble upon something which you then go, oh, actually, I can use that back at my desk. Another thing that it does is it shows the organisation cares if you're very careful with what you produce for lunch. So if you have a staff canteen, having options such as gluten-free or having options which appeal to different celebrations or different cultures, and make sure they're good, because no one wants a sweet and sour which is all just sweet and sour onions in a very, very sweet sauce. So again, if you're using cultural options, use them wisely. Another lovely thing that I recognise, and this is just because I've observed this in workplaces, is people come together and want to share their foods. So if you have got a very multicultural environment, people often bring in foods from their culture, and it loads of discussion ensures after trying those foods. So again, having that opportunity and that space for people to meet and to chat and to eat together can really boost team bonding. So, as organisations, have a think about what you do at lunchtime. It's not a case of we provide a canteen, that way all of our team members eat in the building. It's not that at all. What you're doing is finding an opportunity to make the workplace better, which in turn will improve productivity and performance.
The state you're in when you eat can change how your body processes food. It's not just what's on your plate, it's how you show up to the meal. When you're calm and present, your body digests food better. You feel more satisfied and less likely to overeat. But when you eat in a rush, stressed, or distracted, digestion becomes less efficient. Hunger hormones like ghrelin can spike, and you may eat more than you need without even noticing. Here's the takeaway. Before you eat, pause, take a breath, slow down. When possible, eat without distractions. Pay attention to the taste, the texture, and the experience of nourishing your body, because the way you feel while eating affects the way your body handles the food.
We've come to the end of another show.
I know, and I feel hungry.
I know, so do I. Yes, that's what talking about food does. I like our clip shows because, A, if you've missed some of our shows, you're seeing what you're missing and how great our guests are. So hopefully we've enticed you to whet your appetite to tune into another one. But also, we get to revisit some of those points, because I think sometimes when a guest makes a point, on the day we go, oh my goodness, yes, and then we forget about it. And it's when we revisit it that we suddenly go, oh yeah, I need to do that.
Exactly, definitely. And another chance to see, clips of our longer shows potentially of our guests, it is always amazing. But yes, you're right. It's remembering the salient points that they made.
Yeah. And so on that, are there any things where it's been on a clip show where you've suddenly got, oh yeah, I remember that, I need to do that, or even today's show?
Well, yes, today, I mean, remembering some of the things that Helen has said, and also, remembering our trip to Namji, what that has conjured up again, which it did at the time. Obviously, it was amazing, but because where the restaurant's situated, it's there's a lot of workplaces around, and the owners want to encourage workers to come in and have really nice lunches, and it's such a lovely environment, and it just brings home how important it is to stop in the middle of the day. Ideally with your colleagues would be nice, not necessarily, but just to take that time out, and then you can go back refreshed, and especially there, that food was amazing. It was delicious.
It was really good, and she's so personable, and again, you feel comfortable eating there.
And
it's
really looked
tasty.
after.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I know it's a cliche, but a lot of people say, you know, the secret ingredient in food is love.
Yes.
But I do genuinely believe that, and this is again something in this documentary. 2 people I interviewed said this. The chef, and she's a very world famous chef for this style of cooking. She said her children can tell whether she's cooked the dish or her assistant has cooked the dish.
No way.
Despite the assistant being of the calibre
Yeah.
and quality that she can cook, the children know.
How interesting.
Yeah. And the other person I spoke to said food was a way to bring her children home, in that it wouldn't be a case of, oh, yeah, come and we'll just go out for dinner.
Yeah.
But if she says, come, I'm cooking this, this and this, they'll all make the effort.
That's really, really lovely.
Yeah.
It's such a lovely image, isn't it, of home cooking and the being at home with all the family.
And if we see that significance of food, the comfort it brings up, the love, the well-being, if an organisation is just shoving in a vending machine with some cold sandwiches, which they did in the NHS.
Oh,
and,
my word.
And this is just an aside. I was doing some research on the well-being benefits of organisations providing food. And loads of people say, yeah, it's brilliant, we love it. NHS, the research said, yes, it's great, we love it, they only serve chips. This is the NHS. This is the 5 a day.
That's the biggest irony.
Canteen, they only serve chips.
Oh my God. Probably because it's what people want, but they're not practicing what they preach,
Not
are
healthy
they?
for the staff.
No.
And so the staff are sitting there going, well, maybe our visitors and everything want chips, but, you know.
Oh my word.
And then
You couldn't make it up.
Then they brought in the vending machine. So, only in one hospital, admittedly, but yeah. This is the whole thing. The reason why we wanted to do this show about food is because it is a way to connect with your teams within your organisation, and it's also a way for people to feel cared about.
Yes.
If families can feel cared about, your staff can feel cared about if you think about how food is going to make an impact on them. And, as Sandra said, it can be a form of self-care when you're working from home too. So, if you are moved to change your diet, change your eating habits after watching this show, or you want to look back on any of our last shows to see those previous guests in action, please go and have a look. From all of us here at Mental Health Matters Office Hours, have a healthy week.